Hi, I'm Alan from Newlands Nursery and welcome to today's 5-Minute Friday. We are all about these fantastic lemon verbena plants this week. They're a very, very popular herb for good reason. I've only just gently wafted this and we get that fantastic lemon sherbet scent. And a lot of people get a little bit confused about how to take them through the winter. They are perennial plants, so they do come back every year. But I'm not sure I'm going to class them as a tender perennial, but they're a perennial that doesn't want to be too cold. They will get through winters in Essex with no problem at all. But as we go further north in the country, into the Midlands and certainly into Scotland, they're going to need a little bit of protection. So a lot of people will have a small plant like this. Might have bought it this year. Now that could go on the windowsill, and they make a fantastic house plant, and we'll talk about that in a second. But also a lot of people will have a plant about this big. It may be in the garden or it may be in a pot. Now that clearly can't go on a windowsill, so move it into a sheltered position. If you've got a greenhouse, that's absolutely perfect. It doesn't have to be heated, but if it is, it's obviously beneficial. If you've got a summer house that's going to get a nice lot of light, that's perfect too. If not, bring it to a sheltered spot in the garden, a south-facing wall or something like that. It's going to get a little bit of heat, and you should be absolutely fine. If we're going to get very, very cold nights, a bit of fleece won't hurt. Now, if you're growing it outside, and actually, to be honest, even if you're growing it inside as a house plant, it will probably lose all of its leaves. We're the middle of September now, and this plant, you can see, is starting to think about losing its leaves. It's completely normal. And what you'll end up with effectively sticks in a pot or in the ground. They'll go this brown colour to them, and you won't have any leaves at all. If you want to stop them losing their leaves, and this goes for the smaller plant, then you're going to have grow lights. But there's no harm in them losing their leaves. You can't pick them to make teas, but once they do, they come through the winter, and maybe March, April time, they start sprouting again and you can start using it again. But what I like to do as well, and I'm going to do it from this plant, is to safeguard the plant. Let's take a cutting before the winter, which we're going to put on the windowsill, and then take it through the winter, as well as protecting the plant, and that's super easy to do. So I've got a multi-purpose compost here. Just going to top that up, tap it down, not all the way to the top, just slightly away from the top, and I'm going to take a cutting off the top. Probably going to put 3 in this pot. Let's take 1 tip cutting there, 2, 3. So they're reasonable sized cuttings. Let's take a few leaves off. I prefer to do it with my nail, just towards the base of the cutting, so you end up with something to stick in the compost. And then all we do, I haven't got a pencil or anything, all we do is put it in and just gently tuck it in, don't squash it down. And then just repeat the process. This is a 9 centimetre, the old 3-inch pot, so 3 cuttings for this is absolutely perfect. There we go. Do the last one, take the few of the base leaves off, and then poke that in there. Then I give it a good water, and then grab this polythene bag. You get like a food bag or something like that, and just place that over the top. That will keep the humidity up, and the plant will root a bit better if we do that. I'd stick that on the windowsill. Again, if you've got a conservatory or a greenhouse, that's absolutely perfect, but a windowsill will work too. Keep it moist. So I haven't watered this, but you water it, keep it moist, make sure it's draining obviously, and it'll start rooting. And then you've got a safeguard if we do get a particularly hard winter and this doesn't come through for whatever reason, you've still got your lemon verbena plant. So as a house plant, super easy. If you've got a plant this size and you want to grow it as a houseplant, especially over the winter months, just bring it in. You can put it in a nice pot, make sure there's drainage in the pot, and put it in the lightest part of the house you've got. They like a bit of light. As we get into the winter, when the days become shorter, probably reduce the watering slightly. Without grow lights, I suspect it's going to lose all its leaves, but you might be lucky. If it doesn't, that's not a problem. If it does, again, not a problem. If it does lose its leaves, really reduce the amount of water you're giving it. And then come next spring, March, April, you can either put it outside when the risk of frost is gone, or it will start sprouting on the windowsill. As simple as that. As with everything, if you've got any questions at all, get in contact, we're here to help.